Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be teaching us how to draft this 3/4 wide leg trouser and a crop top shirt. If this is something you like, please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. Thank you guys. Next thing now is to take out our pattern paper. So I've gone ahead to place the horizontal measurement. So I use 1 inch for the buttonhole in front. So I've placed the shoulder line, the chest line, the bust point and the waistline. So the length that I am working with is 16 inches. That's the shoulder to the waist measurement. The next thing is to place the shoulder measurement, just as you can see. After the 1 inch buttonhole, you place your shoulder measurement, then you rule a straight line across, just as you can see. So the next thing is to use 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So for the neck width, the standard is your bust measurement divided by 12. Not everybody 3 inches work for, although I'm using 3 inches here, but it doesn't work for everybody. So it might be tight. So that's the standard measurement I said earlier. So I got the midpoint, then I went in by ½ inch, just like this. So the next thing, I connected the lines to get the arm side, just as you can see. I wasn't recording this part, so I'm going to explain. So you are going to place your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch. So whatever I have, I'm going to mark it on the waistline. That 1 inch is for ease. Then now is to get the neckline. So I'm using 8 inches and 7.5 inches. So I'm going to rule a straight line across. So I'm just going to be connecting the lines like this. So the next thing is to eliminate gaping. So this is what you do to eliminate gaping. You rule a straight line across and mark 0.25 on both sides. So this is for the front pattern. So for the back pattern, I've marked out the horizontal measurement. The length I'm using for the front is what I'm using for the back. So now I'm placing the shoulder measurement, just as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line across. So the neck width is 3 inches. I'm working with 1 inch shoulder slope. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines. So I'm just going to mark 1 inch there at the center back and also connect the lines like this. So I'm going to get the midpoint, then go in by ½ inch. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the lines to get the arm circle. The arm circle, just as you can see. So the next thing, I'm going to be placing the bust measurement plus 1 inch ease, just like the way I did in front. I'm also going to place it on the waistline. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line because it's not fitted. So the next thing, I'm just going to leave it at the back. So to eliminate the gap, so it just cut it out like this. That's the bottom line. You cut it out up to that place. You're not going to cut it all through. So you just take it up like this, just as if you are closing it. So you just use your paper tape to close it like this to hold it down. Then take your ruler. You are going to reshape the lines because if you don't, it will be having shortage. So like this is the new neckline that we are working with, just as you can see. So now I'm going to be cutting the pattern. So this is the front pattern, just as you can see. So also I'm going to be dropping a link in the comments of how to draft a basic sleeve. So from that sleeve pattern, you can be able to can get the sleeve length that you want, then you add your ease allowance to it. So this is basically the front and the back pattern, just as you can see. So for the 3/4 wide leg trouser, so I marked 3 inches above because I'm drafting the front and back pattern. So I also marked 6 inches for the center front because I'm drafting the front and back patterns together. So the next thing I want to do is to determine the length of the wide leg. You know, it's a 3/4. So the length I am working with is 30 inches. 30 inches is a 3/4 trouser. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the lines like this. So connect it like this. Then I'm just going to take my marker, then label it as the trouser length. So this is what we have. Next thing is to get our block for the tie. So to get this, because it's an high-waisted trouser, you say your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches. So what I have there is 12.75. That's for 3 divided by 4 plus 2 is 12.75. But if it's not an high-waisted trouser, you just go directly by saying hip divided by 4. Whatever you have, you mark it. So yeah, I'm going to mark 12.75 like this. So then I'm just going to go ahead and roll a straight line. So this is the tie line. Next thing I want to get is the horizontal measurement. So for here, I'm just going to say hip measurement divided by 4. So I'm going to place it on the waistline and on the tie line, just like this. Your hip measurement divided by 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line across, just as you can see. Then from that line, that tie line, I'm going to mark 2 inches above to get the hip level. 2 inches above to get the hip level. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line, just as you can see. This is the hip level. Now we're going to be getting the crotch. So for the standard measurement for the crotch is your hip measurement divided by 20 inches. Your hip divided by 20 inches. So for 3 divided by 20 is, I think, is 2.15. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend the lines. So I'm just going to mark 2.15 on that line, just as you can see. So I'm just going to connect it to that hip level, that hip line that I marked. I'm sorry for not labeling these patterns. So I'm just going to mark it like this. I'm connecting the lines like this. Next, on the center front or the waistline like this, I'm going to mark, come in by 0.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the lines just like this. Now I'm going to be marking the waist measurement divided by 4. So I'm going to be marking it after the 0.5. So I have 7.5 inches like this. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the hip line that I marked. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it like this, just as you can see. I'm going to get the midpoint of this tie line. I'm going to get the midpoint. So whatever I had there is 6.5. So I'm also going to mark it on the trouser length and here as well. So I'm just going to be able to rule a straight line across, just as you can see. So we call this line the crease line. So the next thing, I mark 6.5. So on that crease line, I'm going to mark 6.5 as well on the other side, just to serve as a guide. So for the wide leg, depending on how wide you want it to be, so on this trouser length outward, I mark 2 inches. Remember that 6.5 that I marked? After the 6.5, I also marked 2 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it like this. Also like this. So the wide leg depends on how wide you want your trouser to be, basically. So that's what we have for the wide leg. I'm going to be marking 0.75 on the center front waistline and connect it like this. Remember, the waistline is not straight, so then I'm going to be using 2 inches for the band. So here, this trouser, I'm not putting that, but I'm going to drop a link in the description box on how you can put a that straight trouser. So let's move to the back pattern. So at that line, I'm going to come in by 1 inch, and on the waistline, I'm going to mark 2 inches. So I'm just going to be rolling a straight line across, just as you can see. So next thing, I'm going to go up by 1 inch. So I'm going to get the waist measurement, just like I'm going to place it on that line. So I'm going to slant that line like this. So now we're going to get the crotch for the back. So the standard measurement is your hip divided by 10 inches. So what I have there is 4.3. So from that line that I went inward by 1 inch, I'm going to be marking 4.3. Then I'll come down by half an inch. So I'm just going to use my curve rod to connect it, but it was not giving me that curve that I want. So I went on using my hand to like curve it, so it will not be too deep. I'm just going to use the pencil, and I went ahead to use a curve to trace out what I use my hand to mark. So now I'm going to be marking what I have on this line. That's like the hip measurement that we did divided by 4. So I'm going to be marking it from that point. You can see it extended outward. So whatever I have, I'm going to also marking it there. So I'm just going to connect the lines like this. So I'm marking it on the tie line as well. So this line I marked is from the waistline. From the waistline to that point. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So now I'm just going to be adding 1 inch. You can add half an inch. For me, I just decided to add 1 inch up to the trouser length, just as you can see. So I just added 1 inch basically. So by the side, I'm also going to add 1 inch. You can add half an inch, but I'm just adding 1 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and collect the line. So this is the back pattern. Remember, we came down by half an inch, so I'm going to be coming down by half an inch at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and rule a straight line up to that point. So now we're going to be getting the band for the back. So I'm just going to mark 2 inches there, 2 inches. I'm also going to mark 2 inches here on that line. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the line because I'm drafting the front and back pattern together. So I'm just going to use the red marker to indicate that this is for the back pattern. So as you can see there, and I'm going to go ahead and label it. Now for the pocket, at that front pattern, I'm going to go in by 1.5 inches, then come down by 5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the lines like this. So we are cutting out the pocket. So I'm just going to mark 3.5 inches. I extended it by 3.5 inches. Then so I'm just going to use the length of the upper hip. So I'm just going to be using my ruler. I ruled a straight line a little bit, then I use the curvy part to curve it like this. So next I'm just going to use my marker to make it visible that this is the pocket. So make it visible that this is what we have for the pocket basically. This is the pocket. So if you are not adding pockets, you don't necessarily need to draft out the pockets. Next thing you want to do is to get a new pattern paper to trace out the back pattern, so that you'll be having two patterns. So you just take your tracing wheel and trace everything out for the back pattern. So basically, yeah, this is what we have for the wide leg, 3/4 wide leg trouser. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like and share. Thank you.